Hey everybody, Coach Matthew here, and welcome to episode number 6 of the Mountaineer MIGHTcast. It is the first, but not last, double victory week for both the teams. I'm going to break down win number 3 for our minis, as well as the first victory of the season for our juniors teams. I'm going to give you a look at those practices, what I thought of the game, and how I see these teams going forward. Stay tuned. Like I mentioned in the introduction, it was a double win week, which is really great to see. I mentioned it last week, but going into this week, it is spring break. So we were able to still have majority of our players for both teams. We had one player missing on our minis team, and we had 2 players and one of our coaches out for the juniors teams. But I'm going to get right into this and go into Monday's practice. So Monday's practice was a joint practice again for the girls. Wanted to make sure they were continuing to focus on the areas of weakness that we have seen throughout the season. But overall, I thought the practice went really well. We usually do our core fundamental stuff, get them through the movement warm-up, get them going on some passing drills, and then kind of follow into a little bit of serving, followed by our short court game, which I posted on the Facebook yesterday. So you can check that out if you want to see kind of how we play that game and what we do with that. But overall, I thought the practice went pretty well. I wanted to do a little bit more of teamwork and getting the girls focused on some stuff staying low. So in the warm-up, I had them work sometimes the juniors with the mini, sometimes mini, and junior. And I had them doing some shuffling drills where they were hitting hands, doing a variety of different things, just to kind of get them laughing and moving at the beginning of practice, which I want to do. I wanted to break up some of the seriousness that we've seen. Obviously, for those of you who watch this, you know I can come off very serious. I've admitted in the past that I coach the girls very hard and I expect a lot of them. Again, I understand where we're at in the level in which they are currently in their development, but I always want to make sure that we are giving them proper coaching and it's not just coming in and messing around for an hour or 2 hours. I want to make sure as these girls continue to progress in their skills that they're comfortable at whatever age, because I know some of these girls are starting to look at playing in middle school, even possibly high school as that time comes. So I want to make sure that they're developed to get there and they didn't just mess around for 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons at Parks and Rec. I want them to be comfortable, especially if they have not done travel ball and they've only done Parks and Rec, and then they start trying to go at a higher league or level. So we make sure that the practices do have a point to them, but I wanted to have fun this week and I put an emphasis on that. I think the team needed it, especially after the 2 ties. And I mentioned it in the other one. We could be the team to go through the entire season and not win a game and tie every single game, then come through and win the championship. The players are good enough to do that with that starting group. Again, there are some players we have to continue to catch up, but I am seeing great improvements out of them. I'm not saying that they are the reason we are not getting there, because it's a team effort. A lot of the other girls who are higher level have been in those sets with the other girls, and we just haven't figured out the way to maximize what we're doing with some of these other rotations. So we were able to get them in there, get them laughing, having a good time, and just kind of relax out on the practice. Again, we focused on passing for a long time. I believe it is probably, for my team, the most important skill they still need to work on. Serving, yes, that there's a few girls who can kind of get a little bit better there. For the most part, though, I'm pretty comfortable with our serving as a team. I've talked about that before. I want to make sure that defense is a priority, especially if you're a parent. I know it's tough to come watch a game and there's just zero defense. It's just serve, no receive, back and forth, and eventually somebody messes up. So I do want to see a little bit higher level volleyball, and it just takes time building into that. But I think we're getting there. So we focused a lot on the passing, then we did a little bit on the serve stuff, and then we played our short court game. Again, not a lot I have to spend time on this practice. Overall, I think it was a good practice that got them relaxed enough going into the game, which I'm going to speak about here, but I want to hit another thing. So that was Monday. On Tuesday night, so it was my 2 daughters, and then my assistant coach's daughter, Zoe, and we had another individual come to Hagerstown to join in, Natalie, which was awesome to have her there. Because again, we do these joint practices given everybody's there, I've got 11 on my juniors team. I have 8 on my minis team. That's a lot of girls to be really focused on. Now, we do have 3 coaches. The other night we had 2. And again, the numbers were a little bit lighter. So you really are trying to progress them through the drills, but you don't have as much time to focus on some of those individual skills, which we were able to do when we went over to Hagerstown and used the field house over there. It is something I'm still gonna recommend that my junior players do. This is kind of their opportunity to get a little bit less people and a little bit more individual coaching from me as we go there. Now, I'm still working with all the girls, but it's much more in depth there that I can focus on some of those skills than we can in practice. And even if we weren't doing the joint practices, again, you're talking 4 players, including like if your daughter was one of them, maybe 5. Again, we haven't had that yet, but I continue to see these girls doing it. Versus, even just the 9 of them and trying to run through these drills. It's pretty much your speed is cut in half, so you get a little bit more time, and I can kind of go in depth a little bit more to break down if I'm seeing any issues, and we kind of have to coach the girls up on some of those. So it was great. So Alina, Addie, Zoe, and Natalie were all there Tuesday night. It was about 2 hours. We played a variety of different games and also did some drills where I had the girls setting and hitting, which has been awesome to see, which I think will come back into when I talk about Wednesday. I included hitting last week. And again, it's just very quick and basic. I don't have a lot of time to break down the full 3 or 4 step approach to get them into hitting and doing that stuff. But I want to let them start to get used to getting the swing and really getting harder hits on the ball versus just the free ball passing that we had been doing. So we did some of that on the Monday practice. Again, very brief, but just a good way for the girls to kind of work on some of those advanced skills, focus more on it Tuesday. And I really thought that Tuesday practice with those 4 girls, I knew leaving Tuesday that this team was going to be tough. I'm always looking for the next player who's right on the brink of bumping up in their skills to get them to where I think that they will mesh well with the other complementary players. Now, if you've watched our games, there is a solid 4 or 5 that I trust with most plays. Now, again, every girl's going to make mistakes, but I know with these 4 girls that, and I mentioned in the other one, they're going to be very hard to beat, especially when they're playing well and they're playing together. I'm looking for that extra piece to fill in, or the extra pieces. And again, all the girls are going to come along. You are going to see a major difference if you're a parent from where they were at the beginning of the season to where they're going to be in the end of the season. Again, this going on here, that was game number 3. We're going into game number 4 here. We've still got 6 more weeks of the regular stuff, and then we have our playoffs. There's still a long time to go. We're going to be going until June. So there's a lot of time to continue to develop these skills, but I have to give credit to Natalie because I really saw the step up in her skill and also becoming comfortable playing with Zoe, Alina, and Addie, which again, half of my girls have played together before and they're very familiar with each other and they're friends too. It was great to bring in another player, get her into just kind of the system a little bit more, get the girls comfortable setting and hitting with her. And her and I, we did short court together. We kicked their butt. Which was good, because again, it's building up her confidence, and especially that short court offense and defense. The other, I forget how we did. I think Zoe and Addie were together, and Alina and Coach Josh were together. So you had somebody setting and moving. It was just a great game, and it was awesome to see. So I was happy Natalie joined us for that. And then I even saw that kind of bleed into the game and then the practice. So if you are a parent, I will continue to mention it weekly. If you can make the Hagerstown Tuesday nights, I really, really recommend doing so. Now, hopefully they're going to continue to do that because I do believe it's growing over there. But again, we don't need a net. We had a net, but we don't need one to get better. There's always stuff we can focus on. I understand that it is, from my house, it's 30 minutes away, but we were playing in Jefferson, which was 30 minutes as well. In Wood, it's like 20 minutes. It's a little bit of a drive, but I definitely think it's worth it. And I take the pressure off on those Tuesday nights. It's about having fun. Yes, we're coaching this stuff, but we want to have fun, and I really want to get their mind right going into Wednesday, and we did just that. So now let's go ahead and hit the Wednesday's games. And sorry if you're a mini parent watching, I have not talked about it, but I'm going to go ahead and start it out. So the minis here. I was very, very impressed with the minis team. And I know if every week I get on here, I really hoist them up on a pedestal, and then I kind of hit the juniors a little bit harder. Now again, the minis, most of them are brand new players. There are some new players than the juniors, but again, I just hold them a little bit higher on that standard wise. But the minis, wow, very, very impressed with how they were able to do it. So Braylon was out for spring break, and again, I've mentioned Braylon in a couple other videos. She is just a rock star mini player that we have. I have to admit, I was nervous going into this one without her because she is very good at defense. She can serve as well. But she's just a leader on the court, even though she's a little bit quieter. And if you're watching this, Braylon, we got to get you to speak up a little bit more. But she is one of the leaders on the court, and without her there, I was a little worried. But the whole thing was, it wasn't so much worried that we were going to get beat. It was who's going to step up and get to that next level. Now, again, out of the minis, each game I've seen somebody else play different and kind of take over that game. I would say game number 1, Braylon did exactly what I wanted her to do. Game number 2, Lily crushed it on serving. She did good this week as well, but game number 3, I have got to give credit to Kendall. Amazing job. It was so fun to watch her. And this was a girl who's always had the high energy and the motor to get going, sometimes to a detriment where, and again, I say I want players to attack, but sometimes she finds herself out of positions going for other players' balls and stuff. And again, that comes with experience and age. And if nobody's calling it, you want to make sure somebody's at least going for it. So I give her some credit. The one area of her game that I thought, which was kind of on the brink of getting to the next level, was her serving. And she crushed her serves this week. And she had quite a bit that were, middle. She had some that were up short. But just the smile and how excited I saw her, but also her family, it was such a great feeling to see that. So happy with how that minis team did. The other team, I thought they were a pretty good team. They had some servers on there, but our girls were able to weather that game and really play, again, some tough defense. Ultimately, if you watch the minis games, and I have to give credit because as of right now, the minis are tracking higher than the juniors with watches. I believe that game, that first night, was up to 400 or 500 views on that one. So there are some people watching. I know not as many people watch this, but that's okay. The live videos on there do have a good number of people watching, and you've just kind of seen a lot of times it is tennis at this age. Yes, there'll be plays where they hit it maybe 2 times to get it over. Rarely do they do 3 and over. Usually one girl pops it, the second girl either sends it over, kind of, messes it up if they don't send it back right away. But there were some good plays. They played tough. They outserved the other team, which I think really helped them. And when the good servers came up on the other teams, they were able to kind of check in and weather some of those. Sometimes they got their serves, and that's just going to happen. But other times the girls were able to get that ball right back, shut down their best server, and then build their momentum for there. So again, without Braylon, I was wondering who would step up. Kendall was the individual to step up. Again, the other girls did well too. I have to give credit. So on my minis team, there are 2 Aubreys. Both of them played good. One of the Aubreys has been a little bit more consistent. The other one is getting there, but even she was able to get some serves this week, which I love seeing. I love seeing when volleyball starts clicking for some of these girls, especially if they haven't gotten a serve over and then they do. Even though it's 1 point, and if they score on it, it feels like 20. It's just such a great feeling. I mean, some of the girls can already do it, and they're a little bit older and they have the power and they can just do it. But the other girls who are just right there on the brink, and it's just so close, and then it finally gets over. It's awesome to see. So Aubrey was able to get some serves in too. I think every single player that played had a serving ace. Again, that's great. Now we're going to continue to build on that momentum as the games go on, especially for that minis team. This upcoming week, I'll mention it later, but I'm mentioning it now. There's only 1 game. The minis play this week. The juniors do not, but the minis are going to be playing again 5:30 on Wednesday night. Hopefully my juniors team comes out and supports them. I really want to, and again, I offered them. I said, I'll give you some free popcorn. Show up, support these girls. Again, they're there at practice. They're helping you get better. You're helping them get better. The toughest opponent the minis are ever going to play is our junior team. So we're building something together, and they have been good. I have seen the juniors players coming and watching the minis games. I have seen minis sticking around and watching juniors, which it's awesome. I'd love to see that. That's such a cool thing to realize that we don't just have a team, we're building up a program. And hopefully we'll have some people there for the Wednesday 5:30 game. This week is going to be against the other undefeated team in the minis division. There's two teams. There's us, and I believe they're the green team. I think that's what it is off the top of my head. They're a good team. They're going to be tough. So here is your battle of your undefeated so far. Again, I know it's only 3 games, but in this one, there's only 2 of us left. So we're going to see if we can pull it out. Hopefully with the serving, getting Braylon back, the girls continue to get comfortable. We go 4-0. I definitely think we can do so. I think, and again, I haven't seen this other team. I've heard they're good, and I've told you in all of them, I want the good teams. This is what I want. You learn in losing. You can learn in winning too, but you really kind of see the mistakes and see what you need to change when you lose. And you also have to see what do you need to train and elevate your level to in order to beat those teams. So they're going to get a shot at it. We'll play them. I'm not sure if we play them again this season, but if everything goes according to plan, chances are good. Either one of us is going to end the season. I'm going to go ahead and just put on record. Hopefully we will. We will be the #1 seed in the tournament if we continue just to handle our business throughout the season. Chances are good. We're going to meet them probably in the finals. Hopefully we can do what my minis was able to do last year, and that is win in their undefeated streak during the regular season, go into the playoffs, play in the championship, and win again. So we'll see. But ultimately, great game for the minis. All the people watching, thank you for that. I would like to see more in the crowd, but I realize that's going to be kind of tough. Some of the parents can't make it. That's why the live feeds are there. But at the same time, too, come on, juniors. Let's get out there and let's support those minis girls before that. So now let's go ahead and get into the junior game. As everybody's has known so far, we are 0-2 with 2 ties. And the ties have been driving me crazy week after week. But I knew it. Again, you could say I'm a little cocky. I'm not trying to be cocky. I mentioned it last week. We were going to get that W. But after the Monday practice, then that Tuesday, I knew we were coming in and we were going to get after it in this game. And I was very happy. Now, we did what I thought we would do, and we got up. It's a pretty good lead. We didn't seal it in the first set yet. The other team had some good serving. They were able to kind of fight back, and we were able to take that first set. Now, again, that's a little bit different. The previous week against the black team, they got up on us like 12 or 13-0. We had to fight back and still win that set, but I've mentioned it. We're not dropping that first set yet. Now, game #1, 25-5 is what we won that first set. And again, there's the 4 girls there in that one that I've mentioned. And then that last one, they got smacked at the beginning, came out like a fight, got knocked down immediately. They fought back and they won. Then in this last one here, we got up, not as crazy. We got up to a good lead. They kind of stabled out in the teens, then we were able to kind of pull away there in it. My team that won the championship last year, we did not drop the first set the entire season. We won the first set every single game. So far, right now, this team is doing it. Then they came out and then they sealed set #2, I believe, in this one. Yeah, it was 2. And again, we are right back to where we've been all season. Now, usually set #2 has been a little bit iffy. I believe the first game, we were able to win the first 2 in a row, but the second one was very tough. Then last week against the black team, the second team, they got beat pretty bad. It wasn't even close, which unfortunate to see. Then this week they were able to win. Again, new group of girls, not as stacked as that first lineup is, but they were able to get it. So every single girl now has won a set, which is good to see, because before, with the other 2 games, a few of the girls had only been on the losing sets. They weren't on the winning one. And that's a tough thing for a team. So every single girl now has won one of the sets out of the, I believe, yeah, no, everybody had, including the 2 girls who were out for spring break. I believe they've been in for winning sets as well. So awesome to see. We're building on some momentum there. We get to set #3, and again, same thing. We handle our business and we pick up the win. Now, if, again, you might see it, but if your daughter's ever played for me, they can attest to this. I don't care if we've won 3 sets, we go into the 4th, we are still playing. We're going for the sweep every single time. And now I will let the girls try some different serves and try some different stuff once we've won the game. I don't want anything crazy, so we're not doing anything behind the back, spin stuff like that. I still want fundamental stuff, but if a girl wants to try, maybe she's a float server, maybe she wants to try doing one of the spin serves, I'm going to allow it. I'm going to let them try stuff because we already won at this point. So we get to that 4th set, and we're doing what we need to, and again, it's a tight game again. Now, I don't want you guys to think, and if you watched it, you would know this, but if you didn't, we didn't blow out that other team. They were close. I mean, again, I believe each set we at least won by 5, if not more, points on that. They had a couple, little pushes there at the end, but we were able to get all 3 sets pretty well. We get to that 4th set. Again, it's kind of a back and forth game. And I'm thinking we're in the middle mark of it. I've watched it once, but I wasn't keeping track of the score. Because if you watched it, you were probably aware, for those parents that were in attendance, or if you watched online, it could be harder to tell. My daughter got injured. And what happened was there was a ball that was hit on our side. 2 girls hit it. My daughter was in the front. If you're like from our side, you're serving. She was in the front left corner. She spun to get the ball, routine stuff, spins to get it, and her knee buckles, and she just goes down. And it's very, very tough in that scenario because my mind, and again, coming from my background, I have worked with tons of athletes who have had serious knee injuries. And that was the first thing, because Alina, and I've mentioned on the other ones, unless she is really, really hurt, she's not coming out because this means so much to her. And I'm sure it does to all the other girls too, but I've seen players just like in baseball who get hit by a pitch and then they get timid and they don't want to come back in. That's not Alina. She is the type that will go at it and she wants to give it her all. And seeing her get hurt like that and go down immediately, I mean, I was worried because of my experience with knee injuries. My first thought is, she's going to maybe need a major knee surgery at 10 years old, and that could ruin an entire career. Yes, you can build back off of it, but you start a pattern of knee injuries, and it can be rough. So I was down with her for a while. She was in a lot of pain, the tears, and you could just tell the momentum of the game. Even though we're in the 4th set, it flipped. My team just was not into it at that point. I'm sure some of the girls were still trying, but it really took away from the win that we were going to get. So luckily, one of the other, I believe it's one of the assistant coaches on the other team is a first responder. I have my background in being able to help out with that, and so we were able to just make sure she was okay enough, get her up, get her off to the side. She was in a lot of pain. And again, I'm coach and I'm dad. I'm trying to keep the other girls still engaged. But my priority is my daughter and seeing her in the pain that she's in and my worry that this could be very serious. I could care less, and I want to say not for the team's performance, but this stuff takes over what happens on the court. Now, whether that's my daughter or somebody else's, some athlete on the team, if you're a parent and you trust me with your athletes, and it would be the exact same thing. My priority is the injured player out there. And similar to on the other team if there's an injury, because again, at the end of the day, I'm a human. I have a heart for these kids, and my background and what I've seen, even though I'm not a physical therapist, I've worked in physical therapy settings for years, basically transitioning people out of physical therapy back into strength and conditioning. I've seen it. I've worked through it with so many people. My worry was just that something serious had gone on. Now we bring in a player off the bench to get her in. My focus is still on Alina because again, she's in a lot of pain, a lot of tears. And then you start thinking, all right, well, how the heck are we going to get you out of here? Like, we're going to have to let the gym even out. Are we going to have to go to the hospital and deal with that tonight? So, again, I'm assessing everything because this isn't my first rodeo with somebody getting hurt or a serious injury. I've experienced it myself, but again, in the field that I've worked in for years, it happens. And when you're around sports all the time, it happens. So we go through that set. We end up losing it. So we lost the fourth set. And I really think that Alina's injury is what played into that. Again, I'm going to give the other team a little bit of credit. They still did what they needed to finish that one out. But you could just tell after the game, we ended up doing the handshake. And I'm going to get back to that one. And the girls get over to the bench. I didn't really see smiles. I didn't really see excitement. I think the girls all, were just trying to be there for Alina in that time. I want to give one of the players on the other team, who is a former player of ours, Aubrey, credit for coming over and putting her arm around Alina and giving her a hug. You never know how these games can play out. And yes, relationships and sportsmanship, it's bigger than the sport. So Aubrey, thank you for that, for coming over. I promise you, if I ever get a chance to get you back on our teams, you are coming back to the team that you belong with us, because you were there when we were not good. Now that we've improved, you deserve to be on this team again. I would love to have you back on our team. So I thank her for coming over and checking on Alina. It was Coach Josh's birthday, so we were able to give out cupcakes. I did want to have the team sing to him. I don't want you to think I just wanted to sing to him. Wanted the team to sing, so we were able to kind of celebrate his birthday as a team. I let the gym empty out, and then we could tend to Alina, which we were able to, kind of make sure she was in an okay spot. I'm a little bit too tall to help her out, but Adeline, my other daughter, and Zoe were able to help her get out of there, get into the vehicle and get home. And that's just tough. I'm happy we won, but I can't. It's tough to celebrate because now my mind is back on dad mode. Do I have to take my daughter to the ER? What are we looking at for an injury here? Luckily, in my experience with training, I have trained ER physicians. One of them I pretty much have on speed dial, so I was able to call her up, get her advice on what do we need to do for the protocol right now. And then again, I can't help with if we need, an MRI or anything like that, but I can check range of motion. I can do some different stuff, swelling, discoloration. How are we kind of moving? What are we doing weight bearing? Kind of get an idea. At least from that perspective, I was able to get some recommendations on pain medication. Let's see how it subsides. Let's look the next day and see, what we need to do as far as going forward for her. But again, it was the high of winning was overridden by this. And this, like I said, it wouldn't matter if it was my daughter. Any girl on this team, my heart would have been out to them and the entire thing that happened. So that was a tough one. I am going to come back. I mentioned the handshake thing. I'm going to bring it up here in the end. I mentioned I had a rant, but I'm going to go on a little bit of a different one. I don't necessarily want to say it's a rant, but there is still a story I want to tell later on, and I'll get to it in one of these episodes, but I want to bring up some other stuff here in a little bit. But let's go ahead and get into Thursday. So Thursday, I start kind of I don't want to say aggressive work with Alina's knee. There's no swelling, there's no discoloration. Yes, she has some pain with certain movements. Not that you listen to this to hear about my kids necessarily, but I'm going to show you the other side of the coaching side and what I do, which eventually is going to come back in because you are going to see workouts. You're going to see how to build up athletes. I promise you, I have this major overhaul coming. Better lighting, better camera, better sound, better editing, all the stuff. It is happening within the next week or two. But for now, I want to make sure the quality of content is out there before I put something out. But it is coming. There is a lot of stuff coming on this page. So Thursday, get home, immediately start working with Alina. So first thing we do, kind of check her range of motion. How's she feeling? What areas hurt on her? And again, this is something, my background, my experience, if you are a parent or somebody with an athlete, not that I recommend always running to a hospital right away. Do seek doctors and get that advice if you need it. Going from my protocols with the physician that I know and my experience, seeing where she's at, I felt like I don't believe anything's torn, so we're not looking at like a torn ACL, MCL, something like that. It could have just been twisted knee, land awkwardly, some different stuff. Because it wasn't an impact or a trauma hit where she went down on her knee and she just banged her knee up on the ground. This was different. This was the knee buckling, her going down, which you have to be very careful with in female athletes. A lot of female athletes are going to suffer non-contact knee injuries, be it soccer, be it volleyball, even softball. It happens. I've talked about it on a previous podcast. Now, again, they're not necessarily, some of them, but at this age, Alina's not. The girls, the hips are wider for childbirth on girls, so their hips go wider and then their knees come inward. And usually what tends to happen is girls kind of, their knees valgus, they go inward. So they will, when they go to step or place, hip and leg go one way, knee goes the other way, and then something can happen and fall out and you have these major knee issues. So that's why they're very common in female athletes of non-contact. So trying to land from a jump, the knees bend inward. And I'm telling you, and again, this is something you can do. If you've ever watched, if you're a parent watching this or somebody else, watch your daughter play, not just volleyball, but just jump and look at the way they land. A lot of times they'll go up and they'll hit and their knees cave inward. And it's so important to strengthen up the areas around the knees, the quad muscles, even working on the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes, everything. And this is what kills me about female athletics. In most high schools or most schools in general, the boys teams, especially the football team, they dominate the weight room. And I understand that, but female athletes need strength and resistance training as well. They need the proper stuff because they're going to be suffering just as many injuries long term, and some serious ones at that. So, and I'm not saying just go jump on weights. That's not the way you do it. And again, I have a whole program that's going to be coming out talking about that. But back to it all, kind of get Alina moving, seeing how the knee's doing. We do a couple techniques. I do some compression therapy with her, as well as some soft tissue release. Make sure she's good, and she felt a lot better, but I told her you can go to practice, but you cannot practice. It's not going to be the usual stuff, which I know she wants to push it. I know she doesn't want to get re-injured, but she doesn't want to feel like she's missing out and she's going to fall behind because she wants to win and help this team get to where we've gone to before. So we do a compression brace on it, and then she's got a regular knee pad. We go to practice on Thursday, and then now I promise I'm gonna get all the other girls involved here. So Thursday's practice. We were missing about half the players. Now again, some of them were out for spring break, but then there was a bunch of other girls out, which, hey, enjoy the victory, relax. I thought we had, now according to my daughters, I thought we had a great practice. They said it was their favorite practice of the season. Again, very small numbers, but we did some different drills that we had never performed before. We did a serving game. Oh boy, and I'll hit on it here in a minute because again, I'm pretty short on time for this one. I'll probably go about 40, 45 minutes. Right now I'm at 30, 31, but it will be a lot shorter than the other ones, promise that. And so we did a serving game, and one of the games I like to do is basically playing like battleship with chairs. So you move like 6 chairs on the floor, and then the teams are serving back and forth trying to hit the chairs. The only thing I will say is and this isn't just this team, when I've done this game in the past, it gets very chippy between the players and they feel like the other players might be cheating or they're blocking the chairs. And now I'm glad that they care, but sometimes you care a little bit too much. And I try to make it known, hey, don't block the chairs. You can be close to them, but don't block them. Don't grab a ball. If it's going to hit a chair, let it hit a chair. But once again, it got a little too competitive and they got a little chippy with each other, which I don't want to see. The last thing I want to do is make a drill where I'm trying to get them better and they just get worse because now they're all mad at each other. That's not what I want. So I had to stop practice for a minute. I had to make it well known that I'm not going to tolerate that. Do not do it. It's just a game. Don't cheat. Don't whine. Don't complain. Just if something comes up, talk to one of the coaches. Let us handle it, but let's not break down after just getting our first win and then all of a sudden we're at each other's throats. I don't want drama, okay? That's the last thing I want to deal with, or having little cliques on the team that create problems. So we ended that one fast. We kept playing the game, but I put an end to it quick. And y'all think I come out serious sometimes. You should have seen that one. I don't deal with it. I'll put it in. That's the parent side of me. And whether you're my kid or you're somebody else's kid, you causing problems, I'm gonna have to step in there and get that side of it, and hopefully you all understand it's for the right reasons. So kind of did that, was able to get the girls to calm down. Then we started playing our short court game again, but this time was a little bit different. I went and got a speaker and I put on music, and yes, it was about the short court game, But the girls dancing and laughing and having a good time, they completely forgot it that they were just at each other's throats 10 minutes ago over this serving game. And now they're having a good time. And the short court game got so much better than any time we've ever seen it, like played in practices. Usually I don't force the girls to get 2 to 3 hits per side this time. It was the focus is, hey, you got to get 2 or 3 hits. So you at least have to set and work together to play this game. And I know sometimes on the videos it may not look as fast-paced as it is. It's fast-paced. When you get out there and you're that close, I mean, it's moving. The video makes it look slower, but I saw a lot of incredible hits from the girls, which ultimately was kind of what you saw in the game. It's funny because the girls a lot of times will miss real routine plays, yet they'll have these crazy plays where one girl is pretty much diving, one hand hits it, somebody else hits it, and they get it over, and then they're scrambling to get back. It's like when the ball's coming to them like normal, they've got their platform and they're waiting, and it's just too long and they mess up. But when it's these real quick, especially from the back row hitting to the front row, maybe it's not a good pass, and the front row is able to get a dump or make a quick hit on it, the team excels at that kind of stuff. And you kind of saw that with short court. Now again, if you're a parent, that's a dicey way to play, watching your kids play like that. And even from a coaching standpoint, you love just the fundamental serve, receive, pass to setter, set, attack, boom, done with. This one's a little bit wonkier. Now it looks cool. It looks really, really good, and the crowd goes wild when you see some of these plays. I don't want the routine of that, because a little bit of that chaos also can bleed into like Alina's injury or 2 players hit each other and stuff. Again, it teaches effort and moving and the speed of trying to do it. It's not something we planned for, but the girls have gotten pretty good at it. I think you're going to continue to see a lot of that out of them, especially if they don't necessarily get great passing on that serve receive. You're going to see a lot more on that front stuff. And when the girls actually learn, if you're an opposing coach watching this, when they learn how to short court during a game, nobody's going to touch them, because the players are sitting too far back. And if they just get right up on the net and they start tapping, they won't stand a chance. So what are they going to do? They're going to bump them up and they're just going to put it right over their head. This is what got us really good last year, the defense, and they would do this in the middle of the game. I would just start telling them, short court it. And then teams couldn't figure it out because you're just eliminating the entire back row, and then the front row has to decide on where they're getting it. And when you barely put a ball over the net and you get good at it, when they go to hit it, it just hits the net and falls down, which there was quite a bit of that the other day. My teams are usually pretty freaking good at the net defense. Now, as they get older, the game changes when you have blockers and other stuff, but at this point in time, my team usually thrives and excels at network. So they had the short court game, but again, it was just fun because the music, the vibing of the team, they were laughing, they were having a good time, they were dancing, and I love to see that. Luckily, Alina was able to do a little bit of that. She had Coach Josh with her, and she wasn't running or doing anything. She was starting to move, and it was starting to build her confidence back up. Now, she wants to play again. I am going to continue to take my time with it because I don't want her to re-injure it right away. And again, this would go for any parent coming through an athlete if you're going my route. Luckily, there's no juniors game this week. So like I mentioned before, there's a minis game. There is no juniors game this week. So she gets an extra little bit of rest on that. But at the same time too, I've explained to her, do not rush back on this. If you're not ready, don't go yet. There will be time. It's not worth 1 game or 2 games of the season blowing your knee out, having a serious injury. Now you're out for an entire year. So we have to kind of auto-regulate where she's at and what she's doing. Again, I'm continuing to do stuff to help build that up and get her strong again back in that knee where it needs to be. Yes, rest a little bit. Usually my advice, this is my experience, is we rest the first day and then we get movement. Movement is medicine in a lot of ways if it's not a serious injury. Again, this is from my background, assess, see where we're at. Let's start building those muscles back up. Indeed, if you were to have surgery, you might as well go in as strong as possible. Not that she does, but in general, without aggravating the injury anymore, we got to build that area up. And if it's not hurt, well, let's make sure this doesn't happen again by choice. So let's start focusing on the area. So we'll see how that one goes. Again, she has a little bit longer rest Good thing we're getting a lot of these other girls back, because I feel like this team since Monday has built up quite a bit of chemistry. We got to reacclimate the other girls back into the system, back into the team, continue to bring the fun, get them to actually kind of celebrate that win. And I think we're off to the races with these teams. The minis, they're going to find out kind of where they stand between them and the other top team. The juniors, it's time. So I think as of right now, the standings and the minis, we're number 1 or number 2. I don't know exactly if they're going off point differential. Either way. But according to me, we're number 1. The juniors, as of right now, we are ranked 4 out of 9. Now, again, 2 ties. We have 2 teams ahead of us who I do not believe have lost a game. And then it's us and the black team, our friendly nemesis. We have both tied and we both won. So I think they were able to get their win the other night. We were able to get ours. We have the tie. We're going to see them again. We got the match coming later in the season, a couple weeks from now. We're coming back to them. I think we're going to be a lot better team. I hope they are too. I want a tough game. As much as I want to win, I want the tough games, and I want the girls to earn it. Serving on teams that can't return, that's not earning it. Yeah, great for your serving, but I want the games where you earn the victory and you walk out with more than just we won, but that feeling of accomplishment. So I'll look forward to playing them again, but right now we're in 4th. We're going to start changing that. These other teams are coming. I'm familiar with them, the other teams and the players and the coaches on them. And like I said, it's not the same team, it's not the same division, but you know who we are, and we go out and we prove it, and that's how it's going to be. I believe, and I said it last week, that we were going to set the tone with that performance. We did. Now it's time we're going to continue to put it together. And I believe that 5th piece missing was Natalie. She's up to speed. She's crushing it. I believe the 6th piece is right there. And again, if you're a parent, I'm not talking negative about any of the kids on the team. It's where I think they're at in their development cycle. I believe that next piece is Chloe to be very, very good. And I know you might watch these, Chloe. I believe you do. You're right on the brink there. If I can just get you to not jump all the time or try to spike the very first hit, you're going to crush this though. But I do believe you're right there, and you're going to see a just drastic jump in the skills. And that's 6. Now, there's a couple other players who can serve, but their defense isn't there, or they're a little bit better on defense, but their serving's not there. They're right on the cusp too. This team is getting ready to become very good. And I've seen it happening, and I mentioned it. Now, again, the other teams are getting better too, but we're finally in the flow and the rhythm with this team. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they come out and they just lay an egg. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen though. Ultimately, I say it from a coaching standpoint, but players got to perform. I can do what I can to prepare them, but at the end of the day, I'm not the one, taking the balls out there. It has to be up to them to do what they need to do. But I think this team just became dangerous. I think they always were, but they were in their own head. I believe it's it. I believe it's time that you play us, and it's going to be a hard day at the office going forward. So I look forward to that. I look forward to continuing to see where these girls progress in the season. So I want to hit on a couple quick things. I know every week I kind of plug the merch stuff, but it was great to see. There was a ton of purple in the stands the other night for the juniors game. Minis, not so much, smaller, but there are some minis fans who wear purple. For that, I thank you. But the juniors, parents, y'all showed out. I appreciate it. I love the Mountaineer Might shirts, the custom stuff, whether you got just the elk head, whether you got the custom one with the player name on the back. It definitely is easier to see online. If you watch the game online, you could tell, again, it's process of elimination. If you don't know your kid's number, or like you're watching, if you're a grandparent, you see the number, the name, about half of them had it. The other half didn't, so you should be able to figure that out. Again, it was never mandatory for the girls to do. I believe the minis, one of the parents is making custom shirts, which I said is completely fine. I wish it was just done for free. You know what? And this is a little quick shout out. Parks and Rec, get it together with these jerseys, okay? They were so much better last year. I know I went on it last time, but the little tiny number on the front and then all the logos on the back, I don't like it. People can't read it. And again, I'm one of the people paying to have my logo on it. Don't care. I want better jerseys. Or just shirts. They're not even jerseys. Again, same thing. Just let this be the only season they were done like this, because if not, then going forward, I'll just basically like, hey, everybody give me 15, 20 bucks if you can. If not, we'll help out. We're getting everybody one of these because I want the players to have something they're proud of and have these. And if Parks and Rec watches or hears about it, don't care. Should have been better jerseys anyway. I got my plenty of gripes and complaints on that stuff, which I could go on long and hard about. But we're going to get back to this other one because I wanted to bring it up. And I'm going to try to be as sensitive as possible about this. Because it could be a dicey subject, but at the same time, I am going to show you the coach side. I'm going to show you the dad side in me as to part of what happened with that game. So let me go back to the juniors game Wednesday. After the game, we were approached by the opposing coach, and a player had made an accusation that a player on our team had said something that was inappropriate. Now, we tried to have the player from the other team point out who it was, because again, I want to know if it did indeed happen. I want to know who it was. They were not able to. Okay, which may or may not have happened. That's not the point of this. And if you are a parent or you are a player on my team, I even talked about it last time, we are going to be a team with class. If I find out that it happened, which I don't, or even an upcoming event, if something like that was to ever occur, I would bench you flat out. I do not want individuals like that on my team, and that is not how we conduct ourselves. Now, I'm also not going to blame my team if it's just an accusation about it, because at the same time too, given the scenario, coming off of you just lost, you don't have a clue of who it was and you can't necessarily say what it was. And the term that was used at the same time made zero context in what would have been said to somebody. Again, I'm not going to say what it is because it's disgusting if it was said, but again, it doesn't matter. If you're a player on my team and you do something like that, I don't want you on the team. We don't need you. The same thing will go for my kids if they said it. Doesn't matter. That's not who we are as a team. At the same time too, I want to get back to this other part because this was brought up after the game as I am tending to my daughter. And boy, I got a lot of feelings on this one. And I'm over here dealing with my daughter with a serious thing. Now, could this have been addressed the next day? And maybe this gets back to the coach. Don't care. This could have been addressed the next day or pulled aside differently. You could have sent me a text message and said, hey, we thought this might have happened. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I would have taken that one much better than coming up to me in the scenario and the time that was given and bringing that up. Now, again, like I said, I am a strict, hard-nosed coach when it comes to that stuff. If it happened and you could pick out the girl and you knew, yeah, I understand bringing it to me. But when you don't know and you don't really talk to your player beforehand, your player can't tell what's going on, it seems like sour grapes, and I am not in the mood to be dealing with accusations and stuff at the time for what was going on. Now, on top of that, you also had people coming up to a referee who is an official on multiple levels and then complaining about calls that happened in the game, basically saying our team was favorited. Oh boy. If this game would have been 1 or 2 points different, I can understand your gripes. There is one thing that I will say, coming from my experience in martial arts, there is a term called do not leave it to the judges. You win definitively. I have explained that to my girls. Do not complain to me about a call. If you put yourself, and this is going to come back to that other rant later on, if you put yourself in a situation where a ref determines the game, that is your fault because you should have not been in that situation in the first place. Okay? That's just flat out how I feel about it. Going back to the incident and the fans coming up and either videotaping or complaining about an official, y'all got beat regardless if the ref made the calls or not. Okay? You did. The game wasn't that close, and it could have been a lot worse. On top of it, during the seriousness of what was going on, to come up to me and start that other stuff, you made yourself sound like the team that we will never be. And that is a team that looks for excuses and is just take your L and move on. So what did I do? And again, I'm coming back to it. I reached out to Parks and Rec and I said, this needs to be addressed. Either address it yourself or I will address it in the future. This is not going to happen. In the league last year, there was a team that had parents threatening to fight coaches. Now, this is not my team. This was not us. And boy, I'm glad it was not us. Because again, out of all the coaches, no offense to anybody, I'm the one you do not want to tick off when it comes to this stuff or start to try to threaten in that scenario. And we're not going to do this. Okay, at the end of the day, this is youth sports, and it does not need to be like that. I would rather lose with class than I would win with none. Now, I'm not saying that other team is classless. What I'm saying is if you start pushing the lines of this stuff with fan base, and it's in my handbook, and I even mentioned it on the previous one about commenting on the stuff. The fans are a representation of the program and the team. If you're a parent on my team and you're causing issues, I'm going to address you directly because it affects your daughter, it affects the team, it affects what we are doing. We don't need that in this stuff. Now, again, I'm not saying that's what the other team did. It's just not a very good look when you have a player who could be dealing with a serious injury, then you're coming up with this, and then you have people in the crowd complaining. I understand you're frustrated that a loss can happen and stuff. Handle it differently, because that is nothing I would ever do. If my kids were in that scenario, you lose. First thing I would do is go check on the other individual's daughter to see how she's doing, not just come up with that kind of stuff. Now, again, you may not like it. It may get back to the coach, whatever. We're going to probably see you again in this league this year. And I'm telling you, when that game happens again, now this is not a threat. I don't mean it like that, but be ready for a different level of volleyball and playing coming out of this one. Again, I've mentioned in the other videos, I'm a coach that I do have a heart for running up scores and different things happening and this and that. And I know one of the players on their team, I respect them a lot. Everybody, again, this is sports. You've got a rival team. You could find out that like I would not, if given the scenario in it, I would not hold my team back in going out there and trying to absolutely just run up a score. Now, they could play back and beat us. They absolutely could. But what I'm saying is it shouldn't be like that with the chippiness of it, because I know it happened in the league on the other stuff, and it shouldn't be like that. But again, the situation could have been handled differently from the other side of it. I've mentioned it to my players, to the fan base. We're respectful, we're classy when it comes to this stuff. We are competitive, and we can use that competitiveness. We can use it to really stand out on the court in that scenario. That stuff should not have happened. Whether you're complaining at an official, which is to me outrageous because of the credentials of the individual, and it didn't cost you the game, okay? It didn't. 1 or 2 points, and I'm not even saying that they did do the stuff, because again, mistakes happen. I have seen our line judges make mistakes. I've seen the other team's line judges make mistakes. They're human back there, but there is no way, because you also have an up official who can still see majority of the court. If balls are 5 feet out, they're not going to be calling it that way. It's unfortunate it happened. It's not something I ever want to do. So let's say it's more of an experience like for my team. Don't complain about officials and officiating. In order to lose a game, you have to give up 75 points. You ain't getting cheated on 75 points in this entire thing. You may get 1 or 2. It's going to happen. Every team has it. The balls come in fast sometimes. They're right on the line, right not. Again, I tell my girls, if you think it's out, but you're not totally sure, I'd rather you hit it and go for it. Don't leave it up to chance. I'm in that same boat too, with the stuff. Sometimes plays are, bad plays and bad calls are going to happen, but don't put yourself in that situation. At the end of the day, you got nobody to blame, as far as the referees go, because again, there's 75 points in a game in order to lose one that you have to give up. So something has to give in those scenarios. But back to all the other stuff and kind of getting back to it, again, it's not the way that this league should go or the thing that should be played. At the end of the day, these are athletes. These are humans. This is why they have these issues with basketball and other sports. It shouldn't be going on in volleyball. And unfortunately, it's going to happen because, and I give the parents, they're passionate and they want to see their daughters and their daughters' team succeed and stuff. But at the expense of the other stuff is not where it's at. We are never going to be that team. And again, if it's something that I feel is that strong about, I'm going to approach the coach in person at a different time or send a message or whatever. It's just, again, the way it came off, I did not care for it. It was one of those things. But again, ultimately for my team, if you were the player and you did say something and I find out, there'll be consequences behind it. Same thing, fan base, keep it clean, keep it respectful to the game and to the players. And I believe that we do because I have stated it so many times. The same thing on the Facebook thing, I'll block you. It's a nice thing to have for people to be able to watch their grandkids or nieces play or just other family members. There's a lot of parents who are not able to come to the games that can watch their kids still play. And I love having that, but not at the expense of people ruining it for other people and devaluing who we are as a program through that stuff. And again, that's not necessarily on us. That's just what's going on, and hopefully that it will be addressed. And it was just kind of a one-off incident. Like, again, emotions and stuff like that. It shouldn't be happening. Shouldn't be in the scenario that it happened in and everything else. But yeah, I mean, you talk about you want to light a fire under a team. And you want to light a fire under a player. It's kind of like that funny, if you've ever seen the thing with Michael Jordan and he's sitting there and he's like, and I took that personally. And then that's kind of the mentality, So I would say where Alina has gotten to the point where, she might have had this taken away from her for a long time. She's with a ball since Wednesday night. She's had a ball, just working, and again, you don't have to do much to get them highly motivated if they're an athlete and they want to come out and prove something, and that's the thing with this team. And with my girls, even if they wouldn't have won, and they rallied around their teammate more than anything else, and that is what I wanted to see out of them. Unfortunately, that was the circumstance. They couldn't enjoy the win as much, but in reality, I know that they have each other's backs. Yes, they bickered a little bit at practice, but that's different than what was going on. What was it, like the little brother thing? It's like, I can pick on my little brother, but if you do, then that's kind of, that's kind of how I seeing it. Again, we'll just do it on the court. We let our volleyball speak for us. We don't have to do all the other stuff, and I don't want any parents or any players doing that stuff. Again, we can handle it on the court, and at the end of the day, we can shake hands and move on with the stuff. That's just how it is, and I don't want to keep going on about this. I still will get into that other rant sometime, but I'm pushing close here to an hour, which I said I wasn't going to do, but I wanted to hit that. And again, one of the things is I always want to be raw and honest on these things, and this is a one-shot kind of thing. I hit the intro, I hit this, and I just go on. There ain't no editing that goes into this, but I want y'all to see the emotion because I do care, and I care about these athletes, not just on my team, but on the other teams and how we handle ourselves in these leagues. I want everybody to be raised up, and I want everybody to be part of this. And this is a little bit why clubs feel like Parks and Rec is just not there yet. Now, clubs have their own issue, and I don't want it to be like that. I hate the thought of, I talked about it one of the other ones, that if you're not a good player because you play Parks and Rec and you don't play travel or this, that's not it. I want everybody to be raised up and not have these issues and these problems. So that's why I bring it up. That's ultimately what I care about. Again, we're not going to be one of those teams. We're going to go out, handle our business on the court and do it that way. But hopefully y'all see where I'm coming from on that one, because I know it got out to some of the parents, some of the other people, and all the other stuff evolved around it. So again, if we see y'all, good luck in that game. We may or may not, depending on how the thing turns out. But I think if you wanted a little bit extra motivation out of my kids, I think you got it. So that's kind of how I feel. So I'm going to end this one. If you do have any questions, please reach out to me. There is the MountaineerMight@gmail.com. There's the Facebook. I hope everybody has a great day. If you're watching this today, it is Easter. Happy Easter. And if you need anything, reach out. Stay tuned. We're coming back next week for episode number 7.